Good morning. Thank you all for coming to the fiscal 2026 senior real estate tax exemption presentation today. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Linda Chaika. I'm the principal assessor. And Denise McHugh is our data collector. And we are also both, in addition to being in the assessing department, we are also state certified real estate appraisers. And between the two of us, we have 50 years of real estate valuation experience. And the purpose of this presentation this morning is to discuss the assessed value on your property record card and how this impacts your tax bill. Secondly, discuss the updated fiscal 2026 tax exemptions, real estate tax exemptions, and also I wanted to introduce the new senior means tested real estate exemption. So these are some commonly used terms. Just for reference, I do have a handout of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but these will be mentioned throughout the presentation. I have another slide here. I'm going to go through the circuit breaker tax. That's actually an income tax credit, and it's available for certain individuals age 65 and older who own or rent principal residence in Massachusetts. This income tax credit is designed to help alleviate the financial burden of property taxes for seniors. And to qualify, individuals must meet specific income thresholds and occupy the residence as their primary home. This maximum income tax credit for 2024 was $2,730, and it is handled by a tax preparer, not the assessor's office. But I do have a handout from the mass.gov website of the circuit breaker credit and where you can go. It has a couple of qualifications for that.
Linda, it's okay, jump in?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the senior center has the capability of assisting folks with the circuit breaker, at least helping them get started in the forms and all the other things. So come on and do it. It's really is a good deal. You'll be able to use it obviously for a couple of different real estate items as well. And one is the means testing as well as your deferral program, which will happen this year.
With the 40 living.
Yeah, and by the way, because you didn't file the past years, you can go back and refile your circuit breaker for the past, a total of 3 years. So you can actually go and get money back. And so it's a great deal. And explore that. That's free money.
Yeah, no, it is. It's great. But there is I did find just like a flyer on the mass.gov, and that kind of explains it. So it's helpful, just because I think a lot of people are not aware of the circuit breaker income tax credit, and that is actually a requirement for the new senior means tested exemption that I'll be talking about a little later. So it's always good to at least have some information for people. And it's great that the senior center is going to help residents with that as well. This next, sorry, let me go back. Go to the next slide. Sorry, just having some technical difficulty here. Okay. Sorry. Okay. The role of the assessors, I just wanted to kind of explain how your assessed value is determined and who determines the tax rate. The role of the Board of Assessors is to value property for the purpose of equitable taxation based on fair market value by what sales have taken place for the prior calendar year. The amount of your tax bill is actually determined from the assessed value on your property record card. The Board of Assessors does not set the tax rate. The tax rate is actually determined each year by the levy, which is the amount of money needed to essentially run the town, and that's divided by the real and personal property total values. So for this upcoming fiscal 2026, we will be basing our values on 2024 sales, and 2023 sales will be utilized if we have limited sales in some of the classes. Like, we don't have enough condos, we can extend back our search from 2024 into 2023. And we do all this in accordance with the state guidelines, and it's reviewed by the Massachusetts Department of Revenue. I did want to mention one important thing. Residents who attend the annual town meeting decide what services the town of Lunenburg provides, and these decisions impact the tax rate. This is just a example of the tax rate history for the past 5 years. We do have a single rate. We do not have a split like some of the surrounding towns do. And CIP is commercial, industrial, and personal property. And in November, at the tax classification hearing, that is when the select board will decide if we're going to have a single rate or a split tax rate. To date, we haven't had a split tax rate. So fiscal 2026 tax rate will be determined shortly after that classification hearing. And will be reflected in the January bill that's going to go out.
What does CIP mean?
Commercial, industrial, and personal property.
Right.
This is just a deadline checklist. We want to encourage you to review your property record card because the assessed value is what is determined on the tax bill. I do have an example of, and the next slide will be the property record card. We want to give an example of that. So please review that. And then the real estate tax abatement deadline, this is if you're unhappy with your value, if you think there's an error, you need to file that. You can file it January 2nd of 2026, and the deadline is going to be February 2nd of 2026. As far as with the exemption, you can actually submit them now. We do have the applications, which will be going out on September 1st to people that applied last year. But the deadline to submit that is April 1st of next year. And the new senior means tax exemption, which I'll be discussing shortly, the deadline for that is September 3rd of this year. So we only have like 3 weeks away. So that's why we wanted to try to educate people with this new tax exemption. And again, if you have any questions at all, please call our office. We're here to help. We can help you with your record card. If you have any questions at all, please call us. And this is an example of first page of the record card. It's just like all the characteristics of your property. It has the assessed value, it's got previous sales, has the land value. And then the next page is like a sketch of the property, a photograph, and it's got the breakdown of the gross living area, and pretty much all the characteristics, whether it's a cage, colonial, the type of heat, siding, and all of these go into determining the assessed value. So if you don't look at your card, we encourage you to do that because I can't tell you how many times Denise and I go into a property and somebody may have a deck that they're being taxed on, and we don't want you to be taxed on items that you don't have. It might have not been deleted at some point, or it wasn't, things even, condition is another thing that we adjust for. So, Jack.
Linda, if I could, just from my experience in working with you folks and having been there, this document has a degree of accuracy. And in some cases, not so much. And it's a function of we as a town weren't really good about going and doing post-sales inspections, weren't necessarily keeping up with the building permits, or we never even do the building permits. So these cards need some help. And the only way we can ever do something like that is to get the actual citizen who knows the property, take some time out and look at it, circle the questions you have, and give a call to Linda McQuaid. Oh, no longer McQuaid. That's why she stuttered a little bit.
I stuttered. I almost said my other name, McQuaid.
She just became a new name. So call Linda and crew, and they'd be more than happy to work with you. But there's a lot there. So if you think it's wrong and street quality or whatever, give him a call, because there's a chance you might be right.
Well, most of the time it is right. I did want to mention that. We do have vision appraisal working on our cyclical inspections. We're required to do that. 10% typically every 10 years. Yeah, so we have, we're doing that. We're following up on our building permits. People call with questions. As part of the abatement process, we actually have to inspect the interior and exterior. So we do a lot of inspections, and I would say that our data is good quality.
We're doing everything we're supposed to be doing, but
Yes.
it's just a big pile that has to get up to. By the way, the state does require that the town visit every home every 10 years. And the question becomes, and you get the 5-year reviews and things like that. If you decide that you don't want anybody to go in your home, you start losing your ability to make appeals in terms of how they pose questions. So let the assessors in and that's just, thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, so this is an updated list, and I actually have some flyers here of these exemptions. This is the updated fiscal 2026 real estate tax exemptions. Our first one is the elderly, and that's the clause 41B. That exemption amount is going to be $1,029. That does include the 2.9% COLA for fiscal 2026. This has an income limit and an asset limit. The income limit for a senior person is $32,571, and for married it's $40,946, and the asset limit is $54,492, and for married couples it's $75,172. For that, we have our veterans exemption, the clause 22, which is $400. The 22D is the full exemption, and then the 22E is the $1,000. And the 17E and F is new. That actually replaced 17D. Just had that changed to town meeting, and that new exemption amount is $353, and again, that includes the 2.9% COLA for fiscal 2026. The asset amount is $68,244. There's no income limitation on this. So a lot of times if a person doesn't qualify for the 41D, they can qualify that for the 17E and F. And the 41D and 17E and F will increase every year with the cost of living increase. And our last one is the 37A, which is the blind exemption, and that's $500. And I wanted to introduce our new senior means tested tax exemption, and this has been adopted by Lunenburg for seniors who are granted the circuit breaker income tax credit, and also they need to meet certain income and asset criteria. And the goal of this new exemption is actually to provide property tax relief for older homeowners and help them to continue to be able to live in Lunenburg. The maximum exemption for fiscal 2026 is $2,730 and will be determined by the Board of Assessors. If you're eligible, the credit will be applied to the property tax bill that you receive in December of 2025, and the eligibility is based upon a maximum property assessed value of $540,000. I did want to mention, if you did not receive the income, the circuit breaker tax credit on your 2024 tax return, you will not qualify for this year. But to check with your tax preparer on if you qualify for the circuit breaker, and so at least for next year you're prepared for that. Some of the eligibility requirements for this new exemption: you have to be 65 or older. You have to have lived in Lunenburg as your primary residence for the past 15 years. And you must have been granted the circuit breaker income tax credit on your 2024 tax return. As far as the income, the annual income for 2024 can not exceed $72,000 for single individuals, $91,000 for head of households, and $109,000 for married couples. And those income levels are actually from the circuit breaker. and they are granted for the senior meetings as well. The asset limit for this exemption is $275,000, and by assets, we mean if you had a second home, trust fund, securities, 401k, CDs, savings, and bonds. It does not include your primary home. That's actually not part of this as an asset. And the yearly submittal, you have to supply it every year for this exemption. It doesn't renew automatically. And there's another nice benefit of this. You can also qualify for another elderly exemption. So you could qualify for the 41D and get the 1,029, the 2730 if that amount is approved by the Board of Assessors. And you could also get the credit on your income tax, the 2730. So it's really a nice exemption for those that qualify. And again, if you're not sure if you qualify for this, call our office. We're happy to help. You can call us at phone number listed here. You can stop by the town hall or on the first floor, and you can also contact us by email as well. And just a summary of the checklist again. Review your property record card for accuracy. Denise can actually look up the card for you right now. You can print it out and review that. Check your eligibility for the real estate exemptions. Submit your applications and all the necessary paperwork by the deadline dates. Most of the applications in the back have everything that's required for each of the exemptions. And again, the deadline dates, the senior meetings is September 3rd, which is coming up quickly. Real estate tax abatement, you can submit from January 2nd to February 2nd. And the real estate tax exemption, which is the handout that I have there with all the ones that I explained, that's April 1st of 2026.
Lynn, if you could, for folks, this is a really, really good deal. If your house is valued less than $540,000, which is a lot of them, you're kind of in, and your income can be pretty darn high with regard to the circuit breaker. So already in this very short period of time, we now have 2 applicants in capturing this year. That's a short period of time for a lot of people to start participating. Go for it. Go take a look at it. It's easy money. It really is. So,
As long as you were granted the circuit breaker tax credit.
yeah, get the circuit breaker.
That's kind of
was the challenge for this year. But
Right.
go take a look at the circuit breaker. There's a pile of money in there. You can earn. Your house can be make the circuit breaker. What is it? Oh, you're going to talk about it. In mind, I'm sorry, Lynn.
So actually, that's the end of my presentation.
Oh.
If anybody does have any questions, again, I have handouts. This a brochure on the new exemption. We have the other exemptions, so feel free to ask any questions that you have now. And if you'd like a copy of our card, we can print that as well.
So the only way you can apply for it is if you get that circuit breaker?
Yeah, for this year. Yeah, that is a requirement.
I don't understand why we don't get it.
Well,
I don't know, I guess, I get my taxes done in Groton with the AARP folks that come in and do it.
yeah.
And we never get the circuit breaker, and I don't understand.
Let me give you this handout, because a lot of I'm surprised how many people, are not aware of this. So just take this and actually ask your tax preparer.
Excuse me?
Ask your tax
Well,
preparer.
they said they're AARP volunteers,
Okay.
so I don't
Yeah.
know if they're tax accountants or people that just get trained to do taxes.
Yeah.
It just,
There is a website, so maybe,
oh, I did go to the website.
yeah, we do only have 3 weeks for this.
There's no way we make that, that's the problem, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
If you check, you can call them and say, is my circuit breaker included in that tax line in there? Maybe you just didn't know it.
Well, I looked at
Okay.
it, and there's no CD form there.
Then it's not there.
And aside, there's no amount, but I just don't understand because the amount that you can make filing jointly, husband and wife,
Oh, it's
is way over what we make.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, this is a whole
So it
big
just
game changer.
seems
with this
kinda-
Sharing here.
I know, but it's, I don't know, I guess I just don't get that, how you can make that much and get it, and we're at the lower end,
Mhm.
and we can't because we don't get the circuit breaker.
It might be worth going to talk to a tax professional.
I'm sorry, I can hear.
It might be worth going to talk to a tax
To
professional.
an actual tax,
And have them
not a
review
law
it.
person or something.
Yeah, I would, just.
Yeah.
because-
You might want to ask too, if your tax return can be amended,
Can be what?
can be amended, so you would
Oh, yeah,
qualify.
and then, but I have to go to tax person first and have them look at it.
You can also go right to the IRS offices to see if it could be amended. There's one in Fitchburg on Main Street above the post
Oh, above
office.
the post office with the social security office is there. All right, maybe I'll do that.
You have to make an
Doesn't
appointment,
make sense to
but-
me.
yeah.
You want to do that anyway, because you go back 3 years, and you're gonna get a couple thousand for each year, but, you know, you can go back and retrieve, so. go for it. Yeah, I would do that. I can tell you that the Council on Aging, Deb shared some of the plans with regard to how this senior center is gonna continue to evolve, the adult center here. And, one of them is to install assistance with regard to taxation, doing your taxes, not necessarily doing it, but getting you in touch with some of the people that are doing it. Right now, if you, I don't know if you knew Pauline Roy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pauline, she does ours in terms of not the taxes, healthcare plan. There you are, Pauline. What's your plan there? You wind up to help with the taxes stuff too?
So what Deb's actually looking at bringing is the same thing that she went to Groton for, AARP volunteers.
Yeah.
And we used to have it here, several years ago.
This is where I first had it done,
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, and then they ran out of volunteers, so she's trying to recruit volunteers so that we can also be a site,
Yeah.
so.
What would we do without you? There you go.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you so much. We appreciate you all coming
Oh,
today.
cute. Good job.